Chair, City Council, Ms. Wade. I'm glad you explained that you do that by alphabetical. I think people may think that you have something good for me, and that you always call me up here first, but somebody with the letter A in their last name should get on the list to talk. A couple of things. First, I'm going to encourage you to spend money for a new sound system. This happens every meeting. But really, the major reason I wanted to speak is I still don't see it on the agenda. You were given a letter last council meeting. I spoke of a meeting before that. Now I speak again regarding the city of Duncanville, the state of the city of Duncanville address. Still not on the agenda. No public. I've scoured the city website, the official newspaper, the local tabloid. I see no explanation or no remarks, no announcement of when that address is going to be given. I would encourage you, as I've stated before, that be a very public meeting in this chamber, so it can be televised. I noticed on the briefing session agenda that you talked about and discussed a volunteer appreciation banquet. I encourage you not to include the State of the City address with some other function. It needs to be the focus of the meeting. You're very rapid to call special meetings. I think you can call another special council meeting to present this information to the public. It is election season. We need to know where our tax dollars are being spent. We need the information so we can decide where we need to cast our votes. And the state of the city is a very important part of that. I encourage you to do that and to make it public as soon as possible. As I said before, I think it should be before the end of this month. But I'm not sure if you can move that fast since it's not your idea. Thank you.
Juan Falcon.
Good evening. My name is Juan Falcon. I guess I'm supposed to get my address. 7011 Southwood Circle, Duncanville, Texas. I want to point out to the City Council something that happened to me about a couple of weeks ago. I went to visit a friend at Cedar Ridge Apartments, and it was 8 o'clock, around 8:30 when I got there, and their gate was wide open, and I walked, drove in and looked for a parking space, and the tenant, my friend, said, "Hey, where'd you park?" You parked, the back gate with the fence, and my car got towed, and we immediately went to go pick up my car. Normally in Dallas, the tow fee was $162. In my case, I paid $263, and I asked the Walnut Hill Record Service why the difference, and he says, "Well, Duncanville allows that." And I'm like, wow, that's a little steep for a car being towed. And I did follow the standard route. I went to the JP Court. As a matter of fact, it was yesterday, and I tried to see if I could get my money back, since there was no signage, nothing against that back wall. I even showed the judge this plain Jane standard form that they have. I guess it's state approved, which basically says towing enforced at all times. Unauthorized vehicles will be towed at owners' or operators' expense. Vehicles prohibited are, for example, for sale vehicles, abandoned, inoperable, or jacks or blocks, flat tires, parking on grass, unauthorized handicap parking, blocking drive or dumpster, expired inspection or registration, vehicles without required permits or visitor pass, unauthorized vehicles in assigned or reserved spaces, no tractors, trailers parking, or no parking in fire lanes. I explained to the JP judge that out of all these, the only one I can think of that pertains to me, since I was a visitor at 8 o'clock and you can't assign visitor passes, would be the one that says vehicle in assigned or reserved spaces. And he's basically told me, well, the state only, this is...
Yeah, please continue.
Okay, that because this sign was in their front fence, that they're allowed to remove your vehicle. As a matter of fact, the JP judge said, my car is an unauthorized vehicle, period, in that parking lot. And I'm thinking to myself that this sign is everywhere, even at grocery stores, at malls, and everywhere else. So I'm asking that if y'all will please look into this, because first of all, they have a 24 hours. I thought that, you know, best guess that they would start at 10 o'clock at night or maybe midnight patrolling. They didn't, the actual manager of the apartments, they didn't call it out. I guess a record just went in, saw my car, didn't have a sticker, I got towed. And again, it's a little steep, and I really found it offensive for them to say that Duncanville allows them to charge $263. Thank you.
Homer Fincannon.
Homer Fincannon, 546 Wind River Drive, Duncanville, Texas, a resident since July 1962, which is going on about 51 years. I heard the chief say the prayer, very eloquent prayer. I believe he may have left out a key person, that poor senior citizen that lost her life by somebody murdering her over there in Duncanville. You know, I think that as I go out in the afternoons, maybe later afternoon, you know, you don't see the seniors coming out. And this is bad. This is bad for this city. You know, I've almost reached senior citizenhood. I see on the big signs they say missing elderly couples in their 70s, early 70s, and, you know, I found I've already got that. And I've lived out here. I felt safely for a good number of years. And we hear gunshots in our neighborhood and stuff, but I wrote an article in one of the blogs, and I told them, well, maybe more of us is packing over there, and that's why they can come to our area of town. But I think the police department, maybe they've got a little slack. Maybe they're undermanned. Maybe it's the leadership. I think a lot of this stuff, if it's just about, and thinking through the fire department and the police department, you know, I believe Matt Dillon, he gets out there and rides on out. And the same way our chief of police should, and our fire chief should too. If you send out a fire truck and only has 2 people on, the chief is first to arrive there, then he mans that along with the other 2. But we're going to have to do something in this town, because I'm getting kind of tired of 28% of the population sitting at their home watching TV when they could be out enjoying some of this city, enjoying some of the parks and stuff. And I think it's time that you need to buckle down and say, hey, they look good in uniform, stuff like that. Are they in shape? Have they got all the training they need? They got all the equipment they need? Do they have enough manpower to protect this city? And please do it. Thank you.
Cindy Jones.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I'm Cindy Jones. I live at 226 Hummingbird Lane. And there are several items that need to be clarified for the public. January 15th, a council member said it's council's responsibility to do justice. Nowhere in the rules of procedure or charter does it state council's responsibility is to do justice. It was also claimed that council did due diligence and put out the lowest bid for the forensic audit of a local business. I contacted the city to verify the statement. The response was, city did not put out for a bid request for the forensic auditor. City attorney verifies that she made recommendations to the council and staff. Council chose from those that she recommended. This is vastly different than being put out for bid, which similarly to how we obtained the management of the field house, this contract didn't go out for bid either. The past week, a campaigning council member running for public office, re-election, put a public notice in a non-official publication, and for sake of time, I'll address just a few of those statements. First thing, Duncanville owns 32% of the main station project and has received no monies from this business venture. The truth is 2005 to 2012, $500,000 in ad valorem taxes, $20,000 in personal property taxes, $203,000 in sales tax have been paid. Property tax, the tax roll shows $1.7 million. That equates to $47,000 in property taxes this year. Previous year's main station was on the tax roll for $2 million, which resulted in higher property taxes paid. Common sense concludes the city and community have greatly benefited from this business venture. Secondly, our economic development director resigned. Not true. July 2011, 4 of the 7 of you voted not to renew the contract. This is very different than someone resigning. Unlike what one council member will own, this is also the same 4 that voted against the water rate study last year. Another statement. We're still progressing. Thank you.
Let me know when the mics are back on. Well, no, I'm speaking to Tracy. Is it ready? We're back on? No? Ask the attorney.
It's a public forum, but they're not supposed to address individuals.
That is what the rules of procedure say.
Should call her out of order, Mayor.
Okay, we're ready to continue now. And a note to the council, your mics are all shut off. If you're going to speak, turn it on for speaking, where they cannot find where the feedback's coming from, so turn it on and off as you use it, okay? 1C, approval of minutes for March 4th, 2013 workshop and March 5th, 2013 city council meeting. 2C, approval of